this is very close to the same. We did Scheme A, and I'll tell you why we did Scheme A. The numbers aren't fundamentally different. Scheme A is one that we know we can do because we don't have to acquire new land. And the cost is not very different because the square footage numbers aren't very different. The total square footage, I think, is within 1,000 from one to the other on a 38,000 square foot campus. So I think for big round numbers that we're talking about tonight, you can assume the costs are real close to the same. Good question, though. Yes, ma'am.
And I may just not have seen it, but we have the organ, piano, and quite a few musical instruments in a fairly substantial size of the existing spaces used for the choir. I didn't see a space for the organ, the piano, the musical area in the new theater plan.
Right. I believe we do have that space planned and programmed, and that detail. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can go back to that slide. Let's see. All right, the choir is, see if this is choir right here? Yeah, it's probably hard to see.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, we actually tried to incorporate them into the choir is really a valuable and dynamic part of your ministry, and I had a chance to hear them live before and come here to worship with my family. And it's really great when they can be in a place where they can lead the church, but also be part of the congregation in some way. So it's sort of flanking the platform, or just to the side of the altar. Well, they're not on the altar, but they're just to the side.
What isn't it?
Yes, correct, exactly. But with more square footage. Yeah, good point. Let's see. Yes, sir, in the back.
Since we're talking about doubling, our existing space, can you project for us what it will cost to heat, including what the maintenance and operating will be?
We could, and I don't have those numbers tonight, but we can. There are some rules of thumb on how to calculate those things, and I don't have them with me tonight, but it's something you ought to consider. And typically, as your congregation grows and as you have certainly more people, you'd have more resources to do that. But we can find those numbers out and get back to you on them. Yes, and I'll also say this. A building that has a new life cycle is going to be lower to cost to heat and cool and maintain than this one.
But we're going to still have this one.
Yeah, that's
I understand. I can help you some with this building, but my point is the new building will be more efficient and better insulation, higher efficiency equipment, just because technology changes. And this building already has some years on it. Yes, ma'am.
That was kind of my same question. Are we going to work on the mechanical in this building while we're doing that?
We certainly can, and this is the time to do it.
That's not part of the $6 million.
Well, actually it might be, because I put in about $75 a square foot for renovation of the spaces that I described to renovate. So of the square footage that you saw for renovation, $75 a square foot will probably get you not just the drywall and walls and partitions and floors and finishes. It'll probably get light fixtures and some HVAC upgrades. Not the entire building, but the parts where we're working on. But those kinds of things are more inexpensive to do while you're doing a larger project than if you hired somebody to come out and just upgrade your mechanical. Yes, sir.
Was there any thought of swapping phase 1 and 2 in either scheme?
Was there any thought to swap phase 1 and 2 in either scheme? Well, no, there wasn't.
But at the beginning of this session, it was emphasized how much space we need for new education and expansion, and not so much as sanctuary in a new church. If you swap phase 1 and 2,
They're both important. I mean, it's really up to you and the leadership to decide. Certainly you could do this piece back here first. You could build this wing first and renovate this. No trouble. You couldn't do this piece until you did this piece.
right.
But certainly you could build phase 2 first. There's nothing magic about that sequence other than the demand that you guys are in a better position to measure than we are. Yes, Gary.
Can I, just to jump in on a couple of things that were just said, some of the questions back there. At no point is anybody up here trying to say that this isn't gonna be an additional cost. I think everybody in the room at this point is aware that this is gonna be an additional cost. But I think it's important that we think about what the standard week is going to be like as we move forward. Now, one of the concerns is heating and cooling the bigger space. Well, the newer space, the newer sanctuary will have better insulation, it will have a lower heating and air cost. It's only going to be used on the weekends. You still have a 100-seat daily chapel. The classrooms and all that are going to be in this existing footprint of space. So it's not like you're going to be heating a 1,200-seat sanctuary 6-7 nights a week. Some of the other numbers I've heard in the questions I think need to be clarified. We're not talking about doubling our sanctuary space. We're talking about more than tripling